Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving deep into the digital vaults of a massive enterprise system, SAP S4HANA. We're going to answer a question that's absolutely critical for any modern business. How do you build unshakable, rock-solid trust in your financial numbers?
Really think about that for a second. When every single transaction is just a line of code, how can you prove to your auditors, to your investors, to your own leadership that everything is 100% legit? Well, that is the big challenge we are tackling today. And the answer? It lies in building a kind of fortress of trust, layer by powerful layer.
So, to build this fortress, we've got to start right at the foundation. And that means a radical, game-changing shift in how financial data is stored. It all kicks off with something called the Universal Journal.
Okay, so check this out. It's a classic before and after. In the old world, your finance data and your controlling data, well, they lived in separate, siloed digital houses. This meant teams spent just endless, mind-numbing hours trying to make sure the numbers in one house match the numbers in the other. It was a constant reconciliation headache. S4HANA just tore down all those walls. Now it's one house, one single source of truth, which means auditors no longer have to waste their time on reconciliation. Why? Because the system is reconciled by its very design.
And this amazing single table, this is the Universal Journal. The technical name is ACDO-CIOCA if you're curious. Every financial event you can think of, from a huge sales order to a tiny expense for coffee, gets recorded right here, just once, with all its details, like the cost center, profit center, you name it, the whole shebang. This isn't just some minor update. It is a complete reimagining of the financial core of a business.
So we have this perfect unified ledger, right? The very first layer of our fortress is all about making sure that once that data is written, it is essentially set in stone. We need an immutable record. And here's exactly how that's done. It's brilliant, really. First off, you can't just go in and change the important stuff in a transaction after it's posted. The amount, the account, the date, nope, they're locked in. If you make a mistake, and hey, it happens, you can't just hit delete. You have to post a reversal. This creates a brand new entry that perfectly cancels out the old one, so both the mistake and the correction stay on the books, creating a flawless audit trail. And even for the little things you can change, like a text description, the system is watching. It keeps a super detailed log of every single change, who did it, what they changed, and when. And as a final failsafe, the entire database is encrypted. Okay, our data is secure. It's locked down. The second layer of our fortress is all about how we look at it. S4HANA gives people what I can only describe as financial X-ray vision. You can drill down from the highest level summary to the most granular detail in seconds. So let's just walk through a quick scenario. Imagine you're an auditor. You pull up a standard financial statement, looking at the big picture. But then something catches your eye. Whoa, the spending on office supplies is way, way higher this year than it was last year.
So you focus in on this number, $239,000. It just seems off. Now, in an older system, investigating this could take days. You'd be requesting reports, waiting for IT. It's a whole process. But here, it's just a single click.
And bam! With that one click, the auditor instantly sees every single journal entry that makes up that $239,000. And one of these line items immediately jumps off the page. A massive, super vague charge for special project supplies. Okay, time for one more click.
And just like that, you're there. You're at the source. You are looking at the original transaction, complete with the scanned supplier invoice attached right there in the system. Think about that. From a multi-million-dollar balance sheet to a single PDF invoice in 3 clicks. That is the incredible power of real-time integrated reporting.
All right, so we've got perfect data and perfect visibility. But that power is only useful if the right people and only the right people have the right kind of access. This brings us to the third layer of our fortress, managing the gatekeepers.
You see, this system is built on a really smart concept. Access isn't just handed out person by person. It's based on what your job is, your business role. So an accounts payable clerk gets a bundle of apps they need. But here's the key. Within those apps, the access is super controlled. Can they just read data? Can they also write new data? The whole system is designed around the principle of least privilege. You only get the access you absolutely need to do your job, and nothing more.
And this quote really sums up the whole philosophy. The system's default setting is to be restrictive. Giving someone unrestricted access, well, that's the big red button you only press in an emergency. It's the exception, not the rule. because that's where security risks and, frankly, the potential for fraud can sneak in.
And this leads us to a classic, super important audit concept: segregation of duties, or SOD. It's simple, really. You just can't let one person have a toxic combination of permissions. For example, if the same person can create a new vendor in the system and pay that vendor, what's to stop them from creating a fake company and just paying themselves? The system is designed specifically to detect and prevent these kinds of dangerous conflicts. Okay, we've secured the data. We've secured the reporting. We've secured the users. The final layer of our fortress is the foundation itself. How do we make sure the system's own rules, its configuration, are secure and managed properly over the long haul?
This is a question auditors just love to ask. It's great that the transaction data can't be changed, sure, but what if someone sneakily changed a critical system setting, like a payment tolerance? Well, guess what? Every single one of those changes to the system's core configuration is also logged. It gives auditors a complete, detailed history of how the system itself has evolved over time. Nothing gets hidden.
Now, what happens to data over many, many years? A system can't just hold on to everything forever, right? The archiving process is incredibly methodical and safe. In the first phase, old documents that are fully settled and paid are written to a separate archive file. Then, and only then, are they deleted from the main database. But, and this is crucial, the corresponding lines in our universal journal aren't deleted yet. They're just flagged as archived. And then comes the really clever part in phase 2. A separate process runs, and it takes all those detailed archived lines and basically squishes them down into just a few summary balances. Only after that summary is confirmed to be accurate does the system finally delete the original detail from the universal journal. This is how you keep the database lean and fast while still preserving a perfect, traceable audit trail in the archive. It's the best of both worlds.
So, after all that, after building this incredible multi-layered fortress, what's the big payoff? Well, it fundamentally changes the entire game when it comes to financial control and auditing.
When you put all these pieces together, the single source of truth, the unchangeable ledger, the real-time reporting, the tight access controls, and the auditable system itself, you create this amazing cycle of trust that just reinforces itself at every single level.
And here it is. This is the ultimate prize. The audit is no longer this painful, once-a-year event where you're just looking back at what happened 12 months ago. It becomes a process of continuous assurance. The health and the integrity of your financial system can be monitored in real time, all the time.
And that really brings us to our final thought for today. When you spend less time digging through the past and more time analyzing the present, using data you can fully 100% trust, it just opens up a whole new world of possibilities. What decisions could you make faster? What opportunities could you jump on with total confidence in your numbers? That, right there, is the real power of building a fortress of financial trust.